being in this podcast media space comes with its pros and cons. You have people that will love you, you have people that will not love you. But also you have to understand that celebrities is what I call very sensitive people. On one hand, you want to say, hey, I'm a public figure. Please respect me. Please give me privacy. Please, please, please. That all went out the window since social media was implicated. Let's get in the case of point with Joe Budden being this media superstar in the podcast space actually made it clear to rappers that you can make a money doing podcasts. You can get your coin doing podcasts. And he have a tendency of criticizing artists like Drake and other artists as well. Even Nicki Minaj, she accused her of being on some type of substance. But Drake have to understand everybody don't love you. Everybody is not a fan. And the fans that tune into Joe Budden is there for his opinion. The failure, I believe, of Drake and anybody else, and I give Nicki more credit because Nicki showed up to Drake. You know, they worked together. But she also showed up to Joe Budden knowing that that was enemy territory. She showed up, she addressed him, she confronted him. They had an in-depth interview. One of the best interviews, by the way. She wasn't chewing on ice. She was really giving credit to Lil' Kim, etc. So what Drake have to understand, when you've been on top forever and you use everybody kissing your butt, you come back to reality when you open up that device and you're being criticized. Oh my gosh, how can you criticize me? The same thing that goes with Tasha K, the same thing that goes with Cardi, the same thing that goes with Nicki, the same thing that goes with Zalato, the same thing. You're going to be critiqued. I myself is being critiqued. I talked about Tasha K and her offspring. I'm automatically being addressed for that. So I can be upset about that because I know what I'm saying on a public platform. The problem with Drake, unfortunately, he have this light-skinned privilege that he feel like, I'm light-skinned, I'm from Canada, love me. But everybody don't love you. He don't make the best music. I think his earlier projects was better than his new project. I'm not a fan. But does that make Joe Budden a hater? No. Because he came on the show and he gave Drake his props when Drake needed his props. He said, you need to stop screwing younger women, screw people your age. You see Drake father came out and said, well, those women was of age, they're legal, etc. But that just to show you the power of Joe Budden words, the power of his microphone, his words, his delivery, that it instantly goes viral because the public crave those people that say, keeping it real. And he kept it real. And let's be clear, when you do this podcast space, everybody can be extremely entertaining. It's room at the table for everybody. It's room at the table for people to do great. It's room at the table for people to be awesome. Let's understand this. When you're in this podcast space, somebody is a niche for you. And the problem is when you're in this podcast space, everybody will not love you. Everybody will not be entertained by you. Everybody will not be your fan. But it is a niche for you. Now, everybody, in my humble opinion, will not be a person of getting hundreds of millions of views. But if you're in the lane, if you're reaching the thousands, then be appreciative to the thousands. And you can always aspire to do more. But never sell yourself short to say you cannot make it. Because you can. It's plenty shows I've watched that was struggling in viewership, and now they're the biggest thing around. Who would have thought that I would have had to accumulate the success now in the Scorpion show is back at work? They were dominating at a certain time. So you never know where your life would be if you give up, but you damn sure don't know where your life will. You keep on at it. You might hit. It's not a guarantee, but I would rather go on the consistent side than to be on the not doing it. Now, when it goes to like Lotto and all of these other celebrities, they trash you. Just like when Erica Banks came up at me and were trashing me and saying that I'm weird because I'm giving my opinion, all because I talked about her with the surgical things that she did to her body. And I said, well, she should come on the Wiley Show. But she was upset about that. I would never come on your show. You're weird. And now she's a has-been. Nobody's checking for you. Nobody's doing this because these celebrities feel like they're better than us YouTubers. They feel like they're better than the Wiley Show. But yet you're suffering. Now, when we were singing Erica Banks' praises, she was showing me love, sending me hearts, etc. But when it comes to the point when I criticized Erica Banks, it became a major issue. It became a major issue all because I kept it real. And if she disagreed with that, you could come on and do a show with me. Just like when you went out there on the show, on a reality show and got milk thrown to your face. That was weird, right? But yet you still sign up for that. And you're getting pennies on a dollar. You don't own it. You're not a big producer. It's not increasing your streams on Spotify, etc. But when it comes to me giving my advice, I always will give my advice. I will never stop giving my advice because this is what I do. I give my advice. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to always give my advice. And when Drake came out with her new album and he released this new album, everybody was like, oh, man, did you hear about what Joe Budden said? That's his job. Joe Budden's job is to criticize. Joe Budden's job is to give critiques. I mean, even Tasha K have a form of entertainment of lying and destroying lives, but there's still a form of entertainment because there's a sector of people that consume that content. But the problem with these celebrities, they're just so easy of controlling the narrative, having their publicists in the corner somewhere say, you can't ask this question, you can't ask that question. But we are, when I say we, I'm speaking about bloggers, like commentators, YouTubers, Twitter Spaces, all of these places where we ask the tough questions. Most of these places like the Breakfast Club definitely will not ask any type of tough questions at all. Just like where the Cardi B's and stuff like that, they're going to Twitter Space to speak with Black folk. But when it's time to promote and to really push her product, she abandoned Black people. So when it flops, and then he's like, oh my gosh, Wiley, how did it flop? Because y'all are abandoning the culture. Y'all are abandoning us that we operate in our shows. We are the directors. We are the producers. We are the writers. We the cameramans. We the wardrobe specialists. We everything. And yet we have to entertain. But the sadness about Cardi, about Nicki, and all of these other people, they applaud us to congratulate them and saying they did great. But when it's time for them to pay it back or to push Black creators to the next level, they rarely go. They would rather sit with a white man and drink hot sauce, but rather have and sit at a table with Black talent and personality speaking commentators. They want us to just keep on kissing, right? Keep on kissing, keep on bowing down to me, knowing that you would never give me your presence on my show because you think my type of existence is less than being on a mainstream Black targeted, not Black owned, but Black targeted. How many Black artists you see on the screen, the Nickis, the Lottos, the Joe Buttons, all these other people, how many of them went on Wiley Show? How many of them went on Armand Wiggins Show? How many of them went on even Tasha K Show? They feel like they're better than us. But soon as we say something controversial, I can speak for myself, 1,000%, they're on your DMs, they're in your texts, they're dragging you, they're in the comments, they're tweeting, they're saying these type of things. But it's sad that they're coming at Wiley when I'm critical, but when I'm singing their praises, they're radio silence. So I just don't understand it. And then people say, well, this person is biased or this person is bought. And everybody have their own biases. We are dealing with a whole war that is happening in the Middle East, and everybody have their perspective. It is different from Israel perspective. What's going on is different from the American media perspective. So everybody have their own biases. So just saying that is not good enough. It's plenty mainstream artists that go to platforms that is extremely biased. But does that stop them from going to those people? Absolutely not. I'm always the type of guy where I'm going to give one time I'll be on this side, maybe on that side, because I've done thousands of shows. My idea of what I thought at 21 is totally different at me being at almost 33 years old. So everybody evolved, but I think celebrities, these celebrities, Cardi, Nicki, Lotto, Drake, they're just so accustomed to bowing down, bow down, bow down. But don't ever keep it real with me because I'm going to cut you off. I never had a connection with you. You never was a bridge. And then people would say, oh, Wiley, you burned bridges. Oh, Joe Budden burned bridges. I never had that bridge, right? So it's not me to just, if you know a record is trash, you got to say it's trash. When is it that in the 2023 that we have to lie and say a good record is a good record? No, it's blatantly it's trash. So I should say it. So why should I have to lie? And let me say this. Why do I have to deem my existence? I am here to exist. I am here to be talented. I am here to be great. Why should I demonize my talent or skill set all because to make in hopes of this interview going to happen, in hopes that I'm going to be a talented person, in hopes that I'm going to be this great superstar, in hopes that I sit down with, in hopes. And them hopes may never come to pass. So I'm going to always stand on someone and just continue to be great. I'm going to continue to be great. And just like when Nicki Minaj were talking about, hey, oh my gosh, it's this big old hate train. And the blogs was just trashing and she developed her whole podcast and she was saying all this stuff. But what about the Lil' Kim hate train? What about the lies about the death of Lil' Kim? What about the destruction that you caused Lil' Kim? Didn't care. But she came up with this false idea that it was a hate train of Nicki Minaj. It was a hate train of that. But let's be clear. When Nicki started Queen Radio on Apple Music before it was canceled on Amazon, she didn't bring Wiley on the show when we singed her praises. She brought on Tasha K, was a known liar of Wendy Williams and was destructive of recording her the Side Baby, posted that, breaking HIPAA, etc. But she didn't bring Wiley on the podcast. She brought T.S. Madison, the woman that made fun of biological women when they was having a menstrual cycle emergency. She didn't bring Wiley on that podcast. So she didn't care. But you sing in the praise. And then now when I wake up and be critical of Nicki Minaj, I'm 1,000% are being dogged or being criticized. Oh, Wiley, you would never happen. You would be sued, etc. No. That threat of being sued will never happen because you would have to have cause or some type of financial loss to prove that what I did had some type of malice, that I was malicious and stuff like that. Me criticizing to say you got a 22 dusty wig ain't nothing to be getting sued. Now, when it comes to Drake and when it comes to Joe Budden, this thing is two men should have the same courtesy where they can sit down to have a conversation. The same way with Drake, when he went on this white girl platform, right? On this podcast and made her international superstar, but yet you didn't go on Joe Budden podcast. You didn't go on his podcast. See, y'all want black folks, black media, black-owned media, just to eat the mess y'all serve us. But then when it's time to get some fruits from you, you don't give us the fruits. You go to a white woman, right? You make her famous. You make her known. You make her internationally known because you have some black entertainers that if it's white, it's right. If you black, get back. If you brown, maybe you can stick around. They don't care nothing about us as black talent in this media space. It's how many times I've seen red carpets where black folks that will try to interview talented folks on the red carpet and they white publicists is pulling them away from black media to white media, right? And I remember this one particular video when Halle Berry actually stood up and said, no, hold up. I'm going to talk to my people. Of course, I'm going to talk to my folks. And she was talking about a black media outlet. Because these white publicists have a tendency of really getting paid by the black talent. Oh, my talent can't speak to black media. No. Bruh, you're getting paid by the publicists. The publicists, you're getting paid by the artists out of their budget. They're paying you. You, the employee. You're not the talent. But a lot of these artists bow down to these publicists and they 1,000% allow it, which is so very sad. When I sing the praises, none of the celebrities show love. They don't come on the show. We did the success of Nicki Minaj being a queen, nothing. We did a show on Lil Kim, did really good, absolutely nothing. But soon as we're a little critical, I'm unfollow you, or I'm gonna block you, or the fans of these entities more critical. But when I was singing their praises, when I was doing the rise of Nicki Minaj and the rise of Lil Kim, the rise of This Is Great. And let's be crystal clear. People will tell me in this show, Wiley, these celebrities is not obligated to come on your show. I concur with that. When I'm not obligated to kiss they behind when they do wrong, I have a right to keep that same energy. I have the right to keep that, and I am obligated to keep that same energy. You cannot, and I'm going to say this 1000%. The Wiley Show, media, my colleagues, we are part of the culture. When I go to the airport, somebody's going to recognize me. When I go into the workplace, somebody recognizes me for my show. So I'm not going to down myself because I don't have a Grammy, an Oscar, NAACP Image Awards. I'm going to always show my love because I'm going to do what I do best by entertaining the people. Now, when it comes to the media space, the publicist is the gatekeeper. They book these people, but I feel like these public, especially the black ones, even though they're in a minority, they even more shady and don't want to come on there. Now, Tasha K did hurt us as YouTubers for talented folks like Drake or Cardi or Lotto or Nicki or these any other entities or DJ Academics. You see him in the back. That's why a lot of these celebrities don't come on to like YouTube shows because they would be like, because of Tasha, because of the Tasha K effect. I remember I was in a Clubhouse room and the publicist said, I would rather send my talent to a radio show than a YouTube because I fear that my client will get an ambush like a Tasha K, which is so sad. And let's be clear, I do not lie on people. I give my opinion. And I want this to be clear. You can be the most nice, peaceful, unproblematic artist or podcast star and still won't get these celebrities. Because a lot of them feel, especially if you're black, I get more love with white entities than from black folks. I mean, they get more love. These black artists, they think, oh, by white people. No, you get love from black folks. We show you love, Drake. We show you love, Joe Budden. We show you love, Cardi. We show you love, DJ Academy. But they rarely want to come on black shows, and it's sad. It is so sad. They feel like we okay to promote y'all records, but we're not good enough for sit at the table with a Drake, Cardi, Lotto, Nicki, DJ Academics. And I don't understand that. I don't get it. I feel like it's crazy. It makes my mind just go into a circle because they treat us so bad. And when it comes to Drake and when it comes to Joe Budden, I don't believe Joe Budden is a hater. I feel like that Drake is in his feelings because his album did not get the great appreciation that he thought it was going to get. Because I say it's trash doesn't make me a hater. Just because I say it's trash doesn't make me bitter. Just because I make it say that it's trash doesn't make me a hater or never going to happen. It's because this was garbage. I have a colleague of mine, one of my former friends, my colleague Armand have a song out, and I criticized him because he had Roly Poly Snacks on the record, and it didn't go anywhere, it didn't chart or whatever, because I felt like the rollout was bad. He should have had that big black woman had spread open her thighs and cheeks and double whited chin. Should have had her on the screen. It would have been greater. But versus he did not do that. He was focusing on that, and it really didn't pop. And let's be clear, it's challenging to be an artist. But does it stop me from streaming his music? No. Does it stop me from streaming his music on my number one station hit show? No. I'm going to always show love. We may not see eye to eye. But I'm always going to be honest about what I feel about his music. Even though his music is not that great to the masses, but I love it. I'm not the one. You know what I'm saying? How you do that? You know what I'm saying? So deposit that check. So I will always show love, but even him, He had a whole musical career. He rarely went on black YouTuber channels. How you not go on channels to promote your music? Because you feel like you're better than the Wiley Show. It's sad. So you got to practice what you preach, is what I'm saying. You got to practice what you preach. Being in this media space is challenging. I'm not the most likable, desirable, attractive guy according to European standards, but I know I'm beautiful. So I have to work twice as hard because of my skin tone, because of my eyes are not straight. I have to work twice as hard in this business. So I have to develop this thick skin. I have to be extra funny. I have to be me. And when I go to sleep without a melatonin, I am proud of what content I did and entertaining as many celebrities that I'm entertaining all over the world. I am proud for that. I love that I is entertaining people all over the world. I think Lotto is a great star, but I think Lotto is losing her support because she's not going on the black YouTuber channel. She's not going on these type of channels. And she feel like people is not great. They're messy. But no, we should come on the show. And see, you should come on the show. And that's also, let's be clear. Let's be clear. Celebrities, y'all give us the mess. I remember Cardi B said something. And somebody posted in the chat. It was like, Cardi, there is no real love-making R&B. And she said, no, it is love-making R&B, soulful R&B. You know why it's not charting? Because there's no drama. It's plenty artists that's making great R&B music. You know why it's not leading? Because there's no drama. Because this industry have been so pushed and it's been so much cow manure flushed down our throats of drama. It makes it hard for a true talented artist with great music if you ain't in no beef. Because it's hard to push it in the blogs because the blogs are so popular. You don't have magazines anymore. You have all these mainstream sites, the Shade Room, Neighborhood Talk, Ball Alert, Hollywood Unlocked. All of these black entities, the most of their most high engagement posts is based in drama. So if they ever squeeze in this artist with a good soulful, get the less views, maybe 500 likes. But if you're talking about Cardi B threw something at Nicki or Nicki threw out some shade, automatically get to 300, 400, 500, maybe a couple of million likes and engagements. So that's what happened. It's a challenge where we seeing people like Drake going back and forth with Joe Budden. It is a challenge because Drake, if he's truly a true alpha man, all you got to do, Drake, is to go on Joe Budden's show and it will be iconic. And then people will just rush to go listen. Everybody have been doing it. This have been so bad with the podcast, media entities, social commentators. We have always been battling with black R&B artists, black rappers. They don't come on black YouTube shows. Again, if you're an artist and this is what you do, please come on the Wiley Show. If you want to sell, if you want to be great, if you want to be awesome, take time out to come on the Wiley Show. Take time out to say, hey, I'm going to come on the Wiley Show. I'm going to do this. Take time out because we would love to see you on our show. Take time out. Take time out. Take time out to come on the show. We would love to have you because we're going to keep it all the way real. We're not going to sit here and throw out shade and do all this type of stuff. We're going to be real with you. All you got to do is be real and come on our show. Let's not play these games, okay? Now, I just have to say that, and I want to definitely move around and get to this other topic here. Consider that I know y'all are here, and I want to definitely get into this because I did see this down on the internet. Tamron Hall interviewed Nicki Minaj person that she said she loved Nicki Minaj, but she ain't Nicki. But I'm talking about T.S. Madison. She interviewed T.S. Madison, and T.S. Madison came on Tamron Hall's show, and Tamron Hall asked T.S. Madison some questions, some great questions, some awesome questions. And I don't care what people say about me or what I think about T.S. Madison, but overall, what she's doing for showing the beauty of trans women, I give her is A1, right? It was so good to see Miss Marion at A1. But I understand the true, authentic T.S. Madison. I mean, she was a former streetwalker. She still has streetwalker activities. She don't pay her staff fairly. She have allegations of different things of touching on All Queens Men, one of the castmates over there. But nevertheless, I feel like she went on the show, and Tamron Hall definitely showed a picture of that. But I feel like T.S. Madison is trying to replace biological women, and I'm not there for that. I just feel like they're trying to replace something. And Tamron Hall reminded her of her biological man picture and her woman picture and reminded her of that. And she had, I think an okay answer. I believe that we all should be appreciative, but I don't believe that we should indoctrinate our girls, our boys, into trying to transition at an early age. I'm totally against that. And clear that T.S. Madison endorsed that you should do it. Endorsed that. I didn't feel right that Dwayne Wade had his child in the presence of T.S. Madison endorsed it and said, oh, this is a role model. And she's not. T.S. Madison have developed her skill set. She said in the show that she was hood. But it's quite interesting that I'm glad that she wasn't over there talking about her body parts, screwing all of that. I'm kind of glad for that. I don't see her being a talk show host because it failed on Fox Soul. We want the true authentic. She's good online when she's dragging and stuff. But I'm glad that Tamron Hall took the time to interview T.S. Madison and having her eating food and trying different food, having her eating and really giving Maddie the publicity that she so desired, she worked hard for. I just feel a little hurt that Kaya's name wasn't mentioned because Kaya was a big part of T.S. Madison's career. I believe T.S. Madison would not be where she's at if it wasn't for Kaya bringing T.S. Madison to the forefront of the Queen's Court. It was because of Kaya. And I feel like that woman is being erased for her skill set. And she's trying to erase her. And let's be clear. Yes, Maddie in the Morning is a new show that she's doing, but it's nowhere near the iconic moment between Kaya and T.S. Madison. And so I appreciate the fact that Tamron Hall brought T.S. Madison on, but it was a failed conversation because Tamron Hall did not ask T.S. Madison the tough questions. She did not ask the tough questions at all. She kept it just softball questions. And I was waiting on Tamron Hall to give her some tough questions about why did she aggressively go after a biological woman when she was in the restroom and she made fun of that woman. That's a part of her past. And that wasn't brought up. And I disagree with Tamron Hall for not doing that because she have a very destructive past. And why did she bring up the allegation of All Queens Men when, according to that brother, that he was violated by T.S. Madison? And so I feel like this entire interview could have been better, but I feel like it was a sympathy ploy, false. It was evil. And it wasn't right that they did not keep it all the way real. And I agree with T.S. Madison that grown trans women should be accepted in society. And you should not try to get into the lifestyle until you become 18 and up. She didn't say that, but I'm saying it. And so that's it. But I also feel like trans women, Sydney Starr said 85% of men will sleep with trans women. And I don't believe in that number. 85%, that's almost the majority. But it is a dark side of the community that she represents. And unfortunately, Tamron Hall did not ask her those questions. But let me know in the chat, did y'all enjoy the interview? Again, I watched it on YouTube. I posted clips. It was, let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat how you feel about T.S. Madison's interview with Tamron Hall. I did see it. I did see Miss Mary. She looked beautiful, by the way. I don't know, a church woman should have been at church praying. But honestly, I feel like it could have been better with this particular interview. But I just had to come and be honest with you guys. I know y'all are upset at T.S. Madison being there because there's so many great unproblematic trans women that is great allies to real women. And T.S. Madison is just not that one. I mean, Michelle Etielian should have been on there because she's a boss. She uplifts Black women. And that's the thing that Tamron Hall should have said. Why did not ask T.S. Madison about the hatred calling a biological woman, Michelle ATL, and Gary Coleman? You didn't bring that up. So I think Tamron Hall is a major failure, and she wasn't real. Very weak question. Very weak. It was not given real tough questions at all, because you did not bring up anything how she aggressively went after Michelle ATL. Why didn't you bring that up, Tamron Hall? I speak to your saying. So I just want to thank y'all so very much for coming up on this show and leaving a comment. I had to record this video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments, how did I do? Make sure y'all thumbs up. Make sure y'all subscribe. And I will definitely see y'all in the next video. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment. I want to hear your thoughts. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.